Hi everyone. Thought I would do one last video for Midnight's Children and for the class. To discuss narration. Forgot what we were talking about that quick. It's been a long week. Anyway, so in the last few weeks that we've been talking about Midnight's Children, I have had an issue with this novel, in the sense that I was, and still am, very untrusting of Celine as a narrator. And I know I've been talking about this in my videos, so if you've been watching my videos, you know that I've been complaining about not liking him a lot. And I couldn't quite put my finger on why I didn't like him, but I think I figured it out. So we finally get to discuss this as for our discussion board, and so I'm pretty happy about that. Get to like vent it all out. Throughout the novel, Salim is telling Padma his story. He's giving an oral telling of his story, or the story of India as India's independence, because they correlate. Obviously, this is being told aloud. It's oral, so while he's writing it down at the same time, it's significantly different when it's being heard aloud, when it's being told aloud. When we tell stories orally, I think that they tend to be a lot more uncomfortable, especially for the storyteller. Depending on the situation or the subject matter, they can be more uncomfortable, they can be just overwhelming, particularly with Salim's story. I mean, it is quite a story. So it's a lot for him to take on as an oral telling, and for it to be a self-conscious thing, I don't think that is at all a stretch. You know, when I know a lot of us already work with students, and I don't know if Jen feels this way, but I know when I get up in front of my students for the first time, you know, when I get a new group of students, I am so uncomfortable. You get up in front of them the first time, they look at you like you're completely stupid. They're like, what is this woman gonna say to us? Even if I'm trying to tell them a story that will help them better relate to their subject matter, they're just like, why are you talking to us? And I get so uncomfortable, I get self-conscious, and I get completely overwhelmed, and I'm just like, why did I go into teaching? Why was this my path in life? I went to college, why? Like, it's always that overwhelming train of thought. Like, definitely picked the wrong career path. I start second guessing myself and everything. But after that first day with that new group of students, it usually goes away, unless it's like a group that's really mean, you know. Which I work with high school students. They're kind of mean. But you know, for Salim, his story is extremely significant. He's talking about Midnight's Children, but more importantly, India's independence. And it's such a monumental story that correlates with his life. And it's only natural, I think, that he should stumble or become uncomfortable and self-conscious about telling such a significant story. Another thing, I think that Celine has this innate desire for perfection, at least when it comes to his storytelling. And perhaps it is because his life so correlates so much with India's history. But, you know, I know the last few weeks I've been like all about like, gosh, Salim is such a narcissist. I still believe he's a narcissist. Like, that has not gone away. But, you know, a part of that for me is like he already thinks it's perfect, blah blah blah. But you know, whatever. But you know, that perfectionist side of him is struggling a little bit. So I feel like he's trying to not only impress Padma, but he's also trying to make India's story overall perfect. And we definitely see that when he's discussing one of his chapter titles, and he's referring to chapter the chapter entitled Alpha and Omega, and I always number mine because I'm like, I cannot stand not having numbers. So it's 16 for me. But it's entitled Alpha and Omega, and he says, I have titled this episode somewhat oddly, Alpha and Omega. Stares back at me from the page, demanding to be explained. A curious heading for what will be my story's halfway point. One that reeks of beginnings and ends, when you could say it should be more concerned with middles, but, unrepentantly, I have no intention of changing it. Although there are many alternate titles, for instance, from monkeys to rhesuses, or finger redux, or in a more elusive style, the gander, a reference, obviously, to the mythical bird, the hamsa or parahamsa, a symbol of the ability to live in two worlds, the physical and the spiritual, the world of land and water, and the world of air, of flight. But Alpha and Omega it is, Alpha and Omega it remains, because there are beginnings here, and all manner of ends, but you'll soon see what I mean. If that does not definitely show his self-conscious nature, I don't know what does. He definitely second guesses himself there. He doesn't know, oh, well, maybe I should have used this title, or maybe I should have used this title. There's definitely some self-consciousness going on there. And I refuse to say, because last week I did, I said I almost felt sorry for him, and I will not say it again. But, maybe I'll just do like an ellipses there. You just insinuate what you will. I understand what it's like to stumble on your words and be a little self-conscious, because obviously throughout this class I've made several videos and I stumble on my words every time I do one, and I often have long pauses because I completely forget my train of thought, and instead of making a new video, which I have before, and yet I still mess up every time, I always just keep going, because no matter what, I'm going to mess up, because I'm human. And I'm always going to be self-conscious talking in front of people, even though I'm on a video and I'm not like literally in your face. I feel like I'm always going to be self-conscious because I know someone's going to watch it. And so in that sense, I definitely understand Salim's point of view. And perhaps that's why I don't like Salim as a narrator, because it makes me uncomfortable. So there we go. We have come full circle. It makes me uncomfortable to read his narration. There we go. Well, it has been a pleasure. And I can't wait to find out everyone else's take on this subject.